The High School Sports Beat is brought to you by Alfred State College, where within 6 months of graduating, an astonishing 99% are working or furthering their studies. At Alfred State, they stress project-based learning, where students work on real-world problems and learn how to think, not what to think. Visit alfredstate.edu.
Sports. It's who we are. It's what we do. It's how we roll. It's wins and losses, highs and lows. It's effort, respect, and dedication. The High School Sports Beat. Sports. It's who we are.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to the High School Sports Beat, brought to you by Alfred State College. I'm Dave Yates. We begin our look at Section 5 sports this week with our opening story, brought to you by Sticky Lips Barbecue and Juke Joint. Sticky Lips Barbecue Juke Joint, New York State's largest barbecue restaurant right here in Rochester. See our menu and live music calendar at StickyLipsBBQ.com. Sticky Lips BBQ, Jefferson Road in Henrietta. We start this week with the McQuaid Invitational. This year, more than 8,000 runners took on the course at Genesee Valley Park. Here's Tariq Spence with the 55th Annual McQuaid Invitational.
Over 240 schools, over 8,000 runners. It's the 55th Annual McQuaid Invitational at Genesee Valley Park.
We have Ivy Assant and Maddie Pearson.
Former McQuaid cross-country coach Bob Bradley started the event back in 1965 and still serves as event organizer 13 years after retiring from coaching.
Every year, I think we have 248 schools here today.
Which is great to see the outpour. It's so great because I barely could get a parking spot in this place, and it's Genesee Valley Park. It's a big park.
Yeah. Well, Genesee Valley is really the only place that could handle a meet of this size, and the people here have been just terrific, helping prepare the course, pruning the trees so that runners don't get hurt. Yeah, this has been our home since '73.
I think he just nailed it from the very first year. I mean, he brought in some good competition, a lot of quality runners, and from there every year it's just been growing.
You know, it's turned out to be the biggest, not only in the state, but some people say in the country. What are your thoughts on that?
It's it's interesting how you look at it. I mean, we don't have as many races as Manhattan, but there are other factors you can look at. How many teams are coming versus how many runners are competing in it.
Todd Stewart coaches McQuaid's cross country and serves as meet director, having taken over for the legendary Pete Glavin almost a decade ago.
He was a guy I would just want to give him a shout out because he's the guy that helped take this thing to a whole nother level.
Awesome.
So it was Bob Bradley to Pete Glavin, and Pete really had a great vision, and that's what he did full time. He was a meet director, so he brought in a lot of different things to make this meet happen, and we're just feeding off of his dreams 9 years later. I really am. I'm just doing all the things that he had hoped to do, that we're just carrying that on. So awesome. A lot of this you see is Pete.
The Hartley Allendale-Columbia girls had another strong showing with senior Roxy Roush and sophomore Mary Cotter finishing in the top 2 for Section 5 in the small schools race.
Yeah, but this is like my first good race of the season. I've had terrible races not really, but for me, in my mental toughness, I guess. And today was the first day I have actually felt good.
Did you do anything different for this one as opposed to the other ones? Did you break a tradition or something?
No, I actually felt awful this morning, really, really sick. Genuinely, I was I don't want to race today. This is not what I want to do. And then I got on the starting line. I cried on the starting line, and then I went out, and it felt really good.
They're engaged when we're racing, and a lot of it is the team culture that they've built. I mean, they have an expectation for each other and feed off each other in terms of how fast they're going to race at the end of the day, but also how hard we're going to work at practice, how seriously we're going to take it, and how much we're going to prepare for big races like this.
So you're just running your race, trying to go as fast as you can. Obviously, it's great to have all this competition around you to push you, but that's not really why you're here. You're here to run a great time, have fun at the meet.
Yeah. How do you feel now? It's the afternoon, so it's it's no longer morning. You're not feeling sick. You're not crying at the starting line. You're at the finish line and performing well.
Yeah, I feel really good. I don't know. I was really bummed about my season. It was just kind of very pessimistic views, and this feels really good, and I might have broken through something.
For the medium schools, it was a close race to being first among Section 5 girls between Irondequoit's Candace Tytler and Brighton's Ellie Assant.
When you were coming down the final stretch, did you feel sort of that kick? I'm like, okay, here I go.
Yeah.
Let's get it all out.
I mean, I thought I was going to throw up, but I saw like a girl slowing down, so I was like, I'm just going to try to get her. So, yeah. I heard somebody say, like, if you pass the green girl, you're in the top 5, so I was trying to, like, stay with her. And then also, I was running with Alley Assant from Brighton for a lot of it. I was trying to not to let her beat me. But, so, yeah.
So how are you feeling now after this one is sort of done? This is a huge race, a lot of support, a lot of family, a lot of people out here, teammates as well. How do you feel now that it's done?
I definitely feel relieved because it was so stressful, and like with teammates, you just want to perform the best so that your teammates are like happy with how you did, and like you feel like you're not letting anyone down.
Sam Lawler of Pittsburgh Mendon took home the top boys time for Section 5 and overall, earning the coveted Steve Pierfonte Memorial Plaque.
Well, this is like my 4th year doing this, so I've gotten in a pretty good routine. You know, I don't get too nervous before races, but I was pretty ready.
How would you feel so far this year leading up to today's race?
Pretty good. My training's been going well. I had a good race last week, so felt pretty ready.
And then now, after this big race, big win, first place, going the rest of the way.
Yeah, just hopefully continuing to run well and working hard to do so.
Among the Section 5 boys teams in the medium school race, Mendon took the top team honors, followed by Irondequoit, Pittsford Sutherland, Brighton, and HFL.
I think we need to train harder and keep it up and focus more on Mendon because they really did great.
Yeah.
They had a fantastic race, and we definitely should have been up there.
I think this gives us pretty good insight for sectionals and states. I haven't really looked at the results against Mendon, but hopefully you can beat them again at sectionals and go back to states.
We all get excited about this. It's a huge event in our area, so we just try and kill our workouts and work really hard up to this point so we can do well.
Oh, this feels great. It's just like one of the most fun races of the year. It's a complete change of tone from like regular league races where you have like dozens of people showing up to like thousands here. It's so much fun.
Coming down that final hill, the finish. And I know, you just got to know as a runner, it feels so much better when you finish and when you're done. It's just the best feeling in the world.
I realize that this is a huge event and that there's kind of pressure to do well, and we're going against some of the top-ranked schools in the state, and so we want to kind of try and see where they are and improve upon that and see how well we can rank up against them before sectionals.
Well, how do you feel today after today's race? How'd your team do?
I feel in much pain, but I feel very good.
Yeah.
Very good.
Yeah, that's good.
That was a good race.
That's good. And you guys ready for sectionals?
I don't even know when that is.
This is the big event of the year for cross country, and it's just something awesome to look forward to, a great benchmark in the year.
Yeah.
You just get to see the progression. I ran a minute faster here this year than last year, so.
Is that pure adrenaline, or is it just sort of?
It's just, I'll go home tonight and be like, wow, that was amazing.
The weather cooperated and Section 5 performed well on what has become one of the biggest stages of the cross-country season. From Genesee Valley Park, this is Tariq Spence for the High School Sports Beat, brought to you by Alfred State College.
Coming up next, Matt Trabold joins us for the Dunkin High School Notebook. We'll have that and more when the High School Sports Beat, brought to you by Alfred State College, returns.
This cinnamon sugar pumpkin latte looks amazing.
Yeah, it's so good.
Yeah, I wish I were this creative.
Oh, I'm not that creative.
Oh, wow. Did you just carve this?
I did, yeah.
Try our new signature latte. It's all things pumpkin at Dunkin.
Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the High School Sports Beat, brought to you by Alfred State College. I am Dave Yates. It is time now for the High School Notebook, brought to you by Dunkin. America runs on Dunkin. And joining us once again this week is Matt Trabold. Matt, some great stuff on the football this week. Great to have you back.
Thanks for having me.
Matt, going to talk some Class B football. Let's talk about one of the undefeateds up there, and that is UPrep. The Griffins are off to a great start this year.
Yeah, those Griffins under Kayla Gauze and his staff, they just keep rising. Last year, and it's even better this year. I mean, I think it's really a statement win to a certain degree. They go to Livonia week 4. It's their homecoming game. The Bulldogs are a staple, I would say, in the title game in Class B, and they beat them by over 2 touchdowns. I think that's maybe a little bit changing of the guard in Class B. I know Batavia is still good. But at the very least, I think there's no question now that there's a real shot for UPrep to win a sectional title this year. You look at Mike Cathy, who is arguably a top 10 running back, regardless of classification in Section 5. They have a couple of really good sophomores. Jordan Jackson, who I think is following Janathan Williams and Corey Wyatt as the next really good height wide receiver that the Griffins can utilize. And then at quarterback, a guy in Clyde Davis, who also very young, but plays and competes well beyond his years. And you mix in Ray Rivera, who has been a really big leader on and off the field as a captain linebacker for them for a couple years now, a few years now on top of that. And he's just the glue that keeps everything together. I think it's going to be very interesting to see. Not a lot of history of title winning, how far they can get.
You know, it's funny doing that story on them last week and talking with the coach and saying how excited he was. He just smiled when he looked at the roster, and they're proving that true right now.
And they have just so many different guys, not just Mike Cathy on the backfield. They really have a two-headed, a three-headed monster, and so many guys are getting in on it, and a lot of them are very athletic, able to play both ways, and it just really all comes together to be a big force right now in Class B.
Moving up Class A. Couple undefeated. You said homecoming at Livonia, homecoming at Eastridge coming up, and Wilson's going to be there. Battle of 4-0s. There's some talent going to be on that field.
Yeah, and then Wilson, week 4, before they had that big one against Eastridge, they really hadn't played against a large school, like a legit contender yet, and then they go and play Arcadia at home, Canaan-Crumbity, in recent Section 5 memory, one of the best tailbacks around. And I think people thought it would be very close, but statement win. They won by 4 touchdowns at home or otherwise. That is a big deal. And they had Jakir Moore, who I think coming into this season was known more for being a sprinter, won a sectional title, but he ran for over 200 yards. That speed, those wheels are really carrying over throughout all sports when you're that kind of athlete. And you mix in, they have all sorts of guys, not just more out of the backfield, that can use those wheels, that can really have success at that athletic part of the offensive game. And you look at a guy like senior fullback Dante McGowan is right there with Moore in terms of that kind of skill. Brennan Clark, 6'6", no more for what he does on a basketball court. But this year, he really put together a wide array of actual football skills, all 3 facets, including defense, including special teams. They really have all things firing right now. I would say definitely overachieving a little bit.
It's funny because usually when a team schedules their homecoming game, it's usually you try and put a cupcake in there, someone that you aren't going to have a problem with. But I know Eastridge is going to have their hands full, that's for sure, when they take on Wilson on Saturday. So, hey, thanks for joining us, Matt. As always, great stuff. We'll be back with more of the High School Sports Beat brought to you by Alfred State College right after this. Coming up next, the Making the Grade nominee with Kyle O'Gara. And later, the Spencerport Boys Soccer team is putting it all together. We'll have their story when the High School Sports Beat brought to you by Alfred State College returns.
Welcome back, and thank you for watching the High School Sports Beat, brought to you by Alfred State College. Hit the ground running at alfredstate.edu. I'm Kyle O'Gara. Wegmans is a proud supporter of Making the Grade, which highlights the accomplishments of Section 5 student athletes on and off the playing field. Making the Grade this week is Hilton senior Melissa Pauley. Melissa is a multi-sport athlete who runs cross-country, indoor, and outdoor track and field. Melissa has been on all 3 varsity teams for 4 years and is currently a team captain for the cross-country team. In the classroom, Melissa upholds a perfect 100% average. Melissa is described by her coaches as a shining example of a student athlete that younger members can look up to. This week, Melissa Pauley is Making the Grade. If you have a student in mind for our Making the Grade segment, we want your nominations. Send them into mtg@rocksportsnow.com. And now, here's Dave with the McArdle Section 5 Spotlight.
Well, thanks, Kyle. Here are some of the athletes, teams, and coaches making news in this week's Section 5 Spotlight, brought to you by McArdle's in Fairport. Come home to McArdle's. Well, congrats to the Pittsford gymnastics team, who have started the season with a perfect 9-0 record. Pittsford won a meet last weekend, beating Fairport, Penfield, Gates Chili, and East Rochester. Aquinas grad Ernest Edwards had a huge day for Maine, catching 4 passes for 140 yards and a touchdown, also throwing a TD pass. Edwards, a senior, ran back 4 kicks for 100 yards as well. And finally, you can check out the 2019 New York State champions in action when the Thomas Titans cheer squad hosts the Battle on the Mats event on Wednesday, October 16th. There'll be vendors and t-shirts available in addition to the varsity and JV sessions. Well, coming up next, a first-year coach and a big winning streak. Just some of what's going on in Spencerport. Well, that story when the high school sports beat brought to you by Alfred State College continues.
And now to Eichel. He floated one. Score!
Welcome back, and thanks once again for joining us on the High School Sports Beat brought to you by Alfred State College. I'm Dave Yates. Spencerport Soccer is no stranger to success, but for the last few years, it was the girls team getting the attention. This year, the boys are making a run.
It's been the kind of start to a season that most teams always hope for, but few ever see come true. After the Rangers opened the season with a loss, they tore off 8 straight wins. But it's only the start of the season. They realize the importance of not getting too high or too low. After all, it's more of a marathon than a sprint.
We want to make sure that we're hitting our stride at the right time of the year. So I think it's important to kind of, as I said to them, we want to minimize those highs and those lows and try to stay even keel throughout the regular season, and then as we make a push into sectionals and stuff like that. So we've got to a good start. We want to make sure we keep that up and continue pushing. We don't want to get complacent now that we're kind of going back through the schedule and playing a lot of the league teams over again. So it's just kind of maintaining that and trusting the process as much as possible to get us to the end.
So beginning of the season, kind of had a slow start because we played Athena first game. We hadn't really had everything figured out yet. Then after that game, we kind of figured our formation out a little more, got used to playing, you got used to the intensity and stuff, and then since then we just hit our stride. Won 7 games straight, something like that. So yeah, we just kind of figured it out, started playing our game a little more. And
so I think that our fitness is good, and I think we're ready to go into sectionals, and I know all our guys are ready to come and battle.
This is Wyatt's first year at the helm of the boys program at Spencerport after being with the ultra-successful Lady Rangers for about 20 years. He's familiar with the program, and the guys are familiar with him, so that has made this a smooth transition.
Well, it's not too different. We still try and play the same game that we did last year, move the ball around, not long balls and everything, but it's been nice to have a new coach around here. He's changed a few things up, kind of refreshed the program a little bit, so it's been nice.
We're just trying to play our game, Last year, Coach Essler, that was his last year, and we sort of developed our style. We wanted to play attack-minded football. We wanted to go forward with it, but still be composed at the back, and we're able to do that this year, and we definitely have the talent to do it, and it's working so far.
It's been amazing. The guys are working well together. They come from a lot of different teams. Some of them are playing RFC, some of them are playing Empire, some are playing Spencerport. So a little bit of a slow start, but then we've kind of hit our stride over the last 5 or 6 games. So we just want to keep maintaining that. It's been a challenge, but we're getting there.
It's not always easy getting a team to gel when they spend the offseason playing with other clubs. But this group made it clear before the year started what the priorities had to be.
Well, in the beginning of the season, we sat down in the locker room and we made a list, and we're like, we want to win this, 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 and this. We want to win it all. And to do that, we were like, we have to put our egos aside for the moment. We have to, no matter what club you play for, no matter how good you are, first guy on the team to the last guy on the team, everyone's committed, everyone shows up to practice, no one's better than another guy.
One of the things Wyan brought with him from the girls program is getting the varsity team involved with the town's youth program. Every weekend they have about 60 to 70 future Rangers come out and go through the paces with this year's club. It serves a couple of purposes, not only laying the foundation for the future of Spencerport soccer, it also provides its current players a chance to give back.
I think it's good because it shows them they know who we are, and I think they look up to us, and it's good for them to see that. And especially when we're coaching them, it helps them want to be better.
A bunch of the guys just go out and we get to demonstrate for the younger guys, kind of start to teach them what we usually do. So I think that'll help to build our program up, because if we start them young, then they'll start to carry up to the varsity field. Once they get here, they'll kind of take over for us once we leave.
I think it's important to work well with the club the Spencerport Travel Club, and I know the president pretty well. He's been helping us out trying to get numbers at these youth clinics and stuff like that. So it's been very beneficial for both of us, me to learn those kids, and then it's also kind of giving back to the community.
We'd like to thank our sponsors, especially Alfred State College, for making the Sports Beat possible. We'd also like to thank the athletes, teams, and coaches in Section 5. Thanks for watching. We'll see you again next week.
Noah Donner. Number 3, midfield, Gavin Egan.